Cam Newton's seat is much hotter, and I'm going to make this very, very, very easy to digest for y'all and for my big bro right here.
Chip, come back. I ain't trying to hear this.
The reason Cam Newton's seat is hotter is this. Right now, Sel, if you were to go out to a restaurant in L.A., right, and you were to go out and sit at this restaurant, if the restaurant was crowded and there was a line outside, after about 75, 80 minutes, your host would start to walk back and forth. Your waiter or waitress would start to walk back and forth and, you ready for the check? Can I get you a box? They would try to expedite your exit because there's somebody waiting in line.
Okay.
But if you go to a restaurant where there's nobody waiting in line, you can really sit back as long as you want and chill and take your time because nobody's trying to expedite your exit. Let's go back to the restaurant where somebody's waiting in line. After the 90-minute mark, if there is somebody in line, the host will do this. I'm sorry, due to the COVID regulations, we have a 90-minute time limit, and we're going to have to ask you to leave. And you would have to get up because there's people waiting in line. The Patriots have somebody waiting in line in Mac Jones.
Who?
And Mac Jones is sitting there at the door fresh. He just got out the Rolls Royce. He just got out the car, and he fresh. He got a squad with him. And he's sitting there waiting in line, and they looking, and Cam Newton's sitting in the seat. And Cam Newton's sitting in the seat, and Belichick has walked by. Robert Kraft has walked by. Belichick walked back by. Cam, can we give you a check, please? Can we get your check? Is there anything else we can get for you?
Let's go.
No, sorry. We don't have desserts anymore. We'll box it up for you. And meanwhile, Carson Wentz is sitting back at his chair, seat's cool, because nobody's waiting in line. Not former fifth-round pick Jacob Eason, or fourth-round pick, and not the sixth-round pick, my friend of this past year, Sam Ehlinger, out of Texas. They're not truly waiting in line. For that reason, just off story form on my first lap, Cam Newton's seat is much hotter.
Wow, that was an amazing story, too. Oh, man, I disagree. I think it's Carson Wentz. I don't even think Carson Wentz gets the entire season for two reasons. One, confirmation bias. If you think Carson Wentz is good, well, then you think that Carson Wentz with Frank Reich will be great.
Yes,
okay? So they have to hit the ground running. Why? Because he's back with Frank Reich. No more excuses. All chips in. But if he's not, if Carson Wentz in his first game, and I keep saying this, goes 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 178 yards passing, I don't even know if he'll make it to week 2. And I'm going to tell you why. You talking about contracts and waiters and talking about, oh, it's time to get up because people are there. Let me read you something real quick. Wentz's reemergence isn't a given in Indianapolis. They talk about if things aren't working midway through the season, General Manager Chris Ballard may be forced to make an executive decision and bench Wentz rather than lose a more valuable draft asset. Oh, do you remember the conditional second-round pick that will automatically turn into a first-round selection if Wentz plays 75% of the games? So Wentz is dealing with a whole different dynamic than Cam Newton. Cam is on a one-year deal, one and done, whether you ball out or you are horrible. We are not tripping on the future of you because the future is Mac Jones. The present is you. Clearly defined lines. Carson Wentz, already not clearly defined lines. There's a rooting interest for Carson Wentz to ball out. He's back with Frank Reich.
Of course.
But in failure, there's also a rooting interest to not let him finish this deal because the deal gets sweeter for the Colts if he doesn't play 75% of the snaps. Never be in a position where you can lose and Nate can't lose.
I like that take. Obviously, you and I both have biases about these two individuals. I love Cam and I love Carson. Obviously, I know Carson better than I know Cam, but I like them both. So let's make them faceless and let's make them nameless.
Don't do this.
No, blind resume? No blind resume.
Okay, good.
I'm just going to have a blind conversation. Right. They're faceless and they're nameless. One quarterback is going to be 32 this fall. One quarterback is going to be 29. The quarterback that's going to be 29 this fall, his team last had a winning record in 2019. Quarterback that's going to be 32 this fall, his team last had a winning record in 2017. The quarterback who's going to be 29 this fall, his team last made the playoffs in 2019. The quarterback who's going to be 32 this fall, his team last made the playoffs in 2017. The quarterback that's going to be 29 this fall, his team was last in a Super Bowl, which they won in 2017. The quarterback who's going to be 32 this year, his team was last in a Super Bowl, which they lost in 2015. If we simply look at the two individuals blindly, Carson Wentz, the 29-year-old quarterback, has both been better more recently than Cam Newton, the 32-year-old to-be quarterback, has been. So if we remove our biases and we remove our personal vendettas or lack thereof, I will not speak for you, very simply, anybody would assume the quarterback who is both younger and has had more recent success, his seat is cooler.
Man, you got me somewhere, but it's not in a place where I can agree with that. And I'm not even trying to disagree because I'm on the other side saying Carson Wentz. I don't even believe that Cam Newton's under any type of pressure. Matter of fact, there's a luxury there. You do what you need to do, Cam, because in the first year of our system, either you sit or you suck. Now, Josh McDaniels has been on record. Bill Belichick has been on record this entire offseason talking about the handicap, the issues that Cam Newton had to deal with last year. They gave him a mulligan. We just haven't given him one. We'll see how that plays out. But Carson, no more mulligans, bro. You're a young franchise quarterback. Let me just start here. If you my homeboy and you are Carson Wentz, this is what I'm telling you. Dog, how you trick off a $128 million contract? You are a franchise quarterback and you lost your job, lost your team, lost your head coach to a second rounder that some don't even think can play the position fully? Damn, how sorry are you? But I'm not going to go there because you ain't my homeboy. But I'm going to tell you, because you are cool with Carson Wentz, who led the league in interceptions last year and turnovers despite only playing 12 games. You talking about recent woes, recent issues. Yo, boy, text him that. Second worst completion percentage. Yo, boy, text him that. Second worst passer rate. Dog, stop. You second. Him and DK Metcalf in that back of that second to last position. You can't be that guy. Took the most sacks. You took the most sacks. And you a $128 million man. And you trying to tell me his seat ain't hot? They want to figure out, dog, was that an anomaly? Or was 2017 an anomaly? Remember that? 11-2, 33-7, touchdown interception, passer rating 102. But the rest of his career, being real, bro, 86 passer rating, 24, 30, and 1. I hate taking out the best of somebody because then what are you?
Exactly.
Right? I mean, you take my best year away. I'm still. But the point is, he a losing quarterback with a bad passer rating outside of 2017.
Carson Wentz, though, Sel, even in 2019, bump 2017,
all right, bump.
4,000 yards. Cam Newton's done that once, his rookie year, 2011. Maybe even 2010.
He don't want to go for all them yards. That ain't what he do.
So let's call a spade a spade. And the fact of the matter is, Carson Wentz has just been better more recently. But more than that, I'm going to give y'all a take that y'all hadn't even thought of.
Let's go.
Remember, before Cam Newton showed up, the Patriots were 12-4. We talk about wins above replacement, right?
Yeah,
when your replacement is, when you are replacing someone, how much better are you than they are? That's how you really dictate success.
Yep.
The Patriots went from 12-4 with Tom Brady to 7-8 with Cam Newton. That is a 28% drop off as far as win percentage. 12-4 win percentage, 7-8. Carson Wentz went from 9-7 to 3-8-1. Carson Wentz actually wasn't even as bad compared to his previous self as Cam Newton was compared to who was there previously. So we want to talk about just how bad the Eagles were last year. But really, the Patriots had a bigger deviation. So as bad as we think it was in Philly compared to them the year before, Cam Newton was even worse with the Patriots than they were the year before. All of these things align to say both their seats are hot. I agree with that. But Cam's has to be hot.
Man, I love you. All right, one more punch back. Okay. First of all, if you try to replace the GOAT, that's going to be tough sledding, right? Try to replace me in this seat. Just see what happens. I ain't the GOAT, but still, that's the point. Like, he tried to replace Tom Brady in a 20-year glove that fit.
That's true.
And he's like, oh, well, it's kind of like the thumb is getting, like, come on, man, it's going to take time this year. Woo! Carson Wentz, 2020. You know, there were quarterbacks that had higher passing grades than Carson Wentz last year. Drew Lock, Gardner Minshew, bless me, Andy Dalton, Mike Glennon, Daniel Jones, Tua. Tua's good, though. All right, here we go. Wentz's regression. I got to get you here because you always like to bring up 2019. Dog, we are working well together. You know why? Because I know your punches and your counter punches, and you know mine. So the thing is, I know he always going to go to 2019, and then I'm always going to read this one back. The last two seasons, oh, man, bottom half of the league in a lot of categories. You know who had a better completion percentage in the last two seasons? Mitch Trubisky. Any good?
He's a good quarterback.
He is.
Better than Dak by 1%.
What about Kyle Allen? What got quiet? More passing yards. Gardner, once again, Mitch. Oh, sorry. And quarterbacks with a better passer rating. I'm done.